This table of 3 is ready to order an aperitif. Please take the order and serve them. You will have 8 minutes, and time starts now.
Good evening. My name is Martynas. I'm the sommelier of our restaurant. How may I assist you?
Good evening. I would really enjoy a glass of Austrian champagne, please.
Definitely. You gentlemen?
And for me, I would like a glass of champagne, please.
All right.
I'll have a glass of Junmai Daiginjo, please.
Definitely. I'll come back with your order soon. And may I ask who's the host of the table? All right. So glass for you, sir. Glass for you. Sir, we have 2 Junmai Daiginjo sakes. One is Zako and another is Shichida. This is made from Yamada Nishiki rice and another from Omachi. Do you have any preferences?
The Junmai Daiginjo, please.
Definitely. All right. I do apologize. Accidents sometimes happen since champagne wasn't completely chilled. Madam, so for you we have a wonderful Schloss Gobelsburg Brut Reserve sect from Austria. It's made with traditional methods, same as champagne. I used bigger glasses for the sparkling wine to open up the aromas, because it's a reserve aged for at least 18 months on the lees, so it needs a little bit more volume to open up those beautiful autolytic notes. And for you, sir, we have a Duval Leroy Fleur de Champagne Premier Cru Brut. It's a dry champagne from France. This you can check. Based on Pinot Noir, Chardonnay. Great house. One of the houses run by the lady Carole Duval Leroy. We just had her in our restaurant.
I recently saw a Californian champagne on a trip to the United States.
Excuse me, could you repeat the question?
I recently saw a Californian champagne on a trip in the United States. Is it possible?
Californian champagne, sir? Well, it is possible because we don't yet have an agreement with the EU. But it cannot be shipped to Europe because the name is protected. And for you, sir, if you may taste. Also, you can see I used a bigger glass because Junmai Daiginjo is expressive sake. And many producers are now using something in between, like a cupped glass and similar, so again, to open up the aromas.
Is there a quality pyramid for Austrian Sekt?
Yes, if you consider it to be wines, depending on the quality, how long they are aging. So we have a Sekt Classique, which is aged for 9 months, if it's made in traditional method, but can be made also in tank method. Then we have Reserve, which is aged for minimum 18 months, and then we have Grosse Reserve, which is aged for at least 30 months. And also, if you go up the quality pyramid, also the regionality becomes narrower. So for Reserve, you can use a village name, while for Grosse Reserve, you have to go to Einzellage, like a single vineyard wine. And this is usually like the top quality of the producers. And also, those wines all have to be dry, brut or extra brut. It cannot be sweet. And there are also defined grape varieties which must be used for these wines. So may I offer anything else for you? So if you haven't chosen any appetizer yet or any starter, all these beverages are really fantastic with the seafood. So we have our signature dish, which is scallop crudo, made with fermented apples, jasmine water, and Rossini caviar on top. So this is really subtle dish, but has the similar aromas you can find in all the beverages, like an apple, citrusy notes. And yeah, I think especially like champagne mousse, really this creamy mouthfeel works very well with the scallop tender texture, while the sake, of course, as well. And you know, sake has a lot of umami in it, so it works fantastically with the scallop sea flavors. And for main course, why don't we go to Serbian dish, such as Danube Kot Zander, which served with a beurre blanc sauce, but made on sake with a little bit of fresh herbs on top and heirloom vegetables on the side. Again, the Zander is quite, it has a firmness to the meat, but it's not extremely intense dish. And I think the acidity of champagne and sparkling wine really works well with these kind of dishes. While sake, you know, it has been known for really versatility to pair different kind of foods. So I think this Junmai Daiginjo really works very well as a white wine alternative. Have a glass of water. Yeah. Accidents. They happen at the worst moment.
Oh, but you are dry, so you're ready for the next task.
Yeah.
Ready to continue?
Yes.
Good. Please do a full organoleptic tasting of these 2 wines. You will have 8 minutes. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Time starts.
So we have 2 red wines. Wine number 1 is a clear, bright red wine of, I would say, moderate ruby color at the core with a narrow ruby rim, doesn't show any sediment or CO2. The wine has, I would say, moderate viscosity. On the nose, it's clean, it's well-defined, it shows elevated aromas of red and dark berries, such as black cherries, blackberries, followed by black and red currant. The berries are ripe. Then we get a little bit of herbaceous notes, like a blackcurrant leaf, some cedary note, which is followed by woody vanilla, the clove, which indicates some oak aging, also like new leather. I would say there is also a touch of graphite minerality to the wine. It is developing wine. On the wine, on the palate, the wine is clean, dry, and still. It has elevated, grippy, but like not exactly grippy, but fine-grained, gravelly tannins, refreshing, mouth-watering acidity. It's moderate in body and alcohol. The flavors are elevated, and they show again this wonderful bright red and black fruit, such as black cherry, black plum, black currant, with a touch of sweet oak, but I wouldn't say a lot of new oak, but this clove and woody vanilla really complements nicely fruit. All that concludes in a long, lingering, slightly sweet, spicy finish. And I would say this is a really high-quality wine because of a great balance of complexity, which comes from maritime, moderate climate. I would go to Old World, France, Bordeaux, left bank. It's based on Cabernet Sauvignon. I would say it's a Saint-Julien, 3 to 5 years old, vintage 2019. Drink it now, but it can age for another 10 years perfectly. Serve it in a sleek white red wine glass with possible decanting, for example, for half an hour. Just open up all these aromas. Serve it at 16 to 18 degrees Celsius, and would go fantastically with roasted milk cow entrecote steak with some demi-glace sauce and heirloom vegetables on the side, or hard cheese such as Comté. And wine number 2 is, again, red wine of deep red ruby color at the core with a narrow ruby rim. It doesn't show any sediment or CO2. It has moderate viscosity. On the nose, it's clean. It's moderately intense. It shows, again, this darker, a bit of darker fruit aromas, such as blackberries and blackcurrant, followed by black cherries and plum. There is a more earthy notes, like a mushroom, wet, damp soil. Leather, subtle notes of clove, indicating oak aging. It's developing. On the palate, wine is dry, clean, and still. It has pronounced but fine tannins, elevated juicy acidity. It is full body with a slightly warming alcohol. It has elevated flavors of dark berries, like brooding flavors of black cherries, blackcurrant, blackberries, followed by damp soil, earthy notes, maybe a touch of tobacco and clove. I would say some oak aging is here, but it's quite well integrated and doesn't feel too much. It ends with a long finish, which shows a little bit more of a vanilla of new leather, indicating oak aging. I would say, again, it's a high-quality wine because of a great structure of well-defined aromas. It has a little bit more age. Both wines have been classically made, aged in, I would say, barrique, part new, part old. The second wine comes from a warmer vintage. I would go also to maritime, moderate climate, France, Bordeaux, left bank, but I would go to Saint-Estèphe, but older vintage, I would say up to 10 years, so 2015, because of the warmth, like this warming alcohol. I would serve it in a sleek red wine glass with prior decanting for an hour to open up all these aromas because it's quite still tight. Also, decanting might be needed for possible sediments. Serve it at 16 to 18 degrees Celsius, and would go fantastically with a slightly more earthy dish such as venison steak with some mushrooms, black red wine jus sauce with some blackberries inside to bind all these wonderful dark fruity flavors in the wine with the dish. At the same time, this strong tannic texture would really structure would really work well with the proteins, and the wine itself will soften with such dish. For a cheese course, I would go to like aged Comté, but with some shaved truffles on top, again to enhance all these wonderful aromas and flavors of maturity. I would say both wines are also quite expensive. I would be saying it's like a premium wines because of this great definition of aromas and flavors. Also, if you would like to go with something lighter in terms of the dishes, you could go with our specialty Hokkaido tartar, which is made from ground beef on a Hokkaido bread, served with some truffles on top. Also, we have prepared a nice kind of coffee oil to drizzle on the top of a dish, and that would work very well with the oaky flavors of both wines. I think I'm ready for the next task.
We stay here, and there is a second part for this task. Please have a sip of water. Ready?
Yes.
Now you have 1 minute to tell us what these two wines have in common. Time starts now.
I would say a few things. I would be saying that it's a grape varieties. It's a Bordeaux-based grape varieties. And also the climate, which is a maritime, moderate climate. So both wines show this slight herbaceous notes, a little bit of earthy character, but it seems that wine number one is, as I mentioned, is slightly younger, from cooler vintage, while the wine number two seems to be coming from a warmer vintage and has a little bit more of the alcohol. So I would say the one common thing is Cabernet Sauvignon, which is the main grape variety in the wine, and the region, it's Bordeaux left bank.
So, we stay here for the next task. Now, please identify these 4 beverages. You have 3 minutes.
Could you repeat the task, please?
Yes, please. Please identify these 4 beverages. You have 3 minutes, and time starts now.
I would say beverage number 3 is whiskey based on malt coming from Scotland. It's a single malt whiskey aged for around, say, 10 to 12 years. I would say number 4 beverages is rakia from Serbia. Whiskey is from Scotland. It's I would say Highland. Number 4 is rakia from Serbia, based on grapes, aged for 12 years in barrels. Beverage number 2 is also rakia, but based on the queens coming also from Serbia and also aged in oak barrels. And beverage number 1, I would say it's made from plums. Coming also from Serbia, and it's Slivovica. With some aging also in the barrels. Wow, they are high in alcohol. I would like to change. Number 3 is a bourbon coming from the United States, and it's based on corn and rye. And aged in American oak barrels. Whew, some powerful drinks.
So we stay here. Ready?
Yes.
Here you can see a map related to these beverages. Please place each glass in their correct subregion on this map and announce your answer loud. You have 2 minutes. Are you ready?
Please repeat the task.
Here you can see a map related to these beverages. Please place each glass in their correct subregion on this map and announce your answer loud. You have 2 minutes, and time starts now.
All right. I would say number 4, coming from Grand Champagne. It's most elegant of all the wines, of cognac, apparently. I would place the number 1 on the Finnois. It kind of seems a bit like lightest, not that concentrated. And beverage number 3, I would put on Borderie. It has this kind of orangey and floral character to the spirit. And the number 2 on Petit Champagne, it seems to be kind of quite similar to number 4. With a slightly lighter kind of profile. Yes, so number 4 glass on the Grand Champagne, the number 3 on the Borderie, Petit Champagne is glass number 2, and number 1 on Finnois. Strangely, nicely aligned. Yeah, but I would be happy with this answer.
Please follow me. So could you stand here for the next instructions? Ready?
Yes.
Please serve a red wine from Moldova to this table of 8 persons. You have 8 minutes. Are you ready?
Please kindly repeat the task.
Please serve a red wine from Moldova to this table of 8 persons. You have 8 minutes, and time starts now.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Martynas. I'm the sommelier of the restaurant. May I ask who's the host and who placed the order?
I am the host.
All right, so you would like to have a red wine from Moldova, am I right? I will come back with your order soon. I just wanted to make sure, is everyone drinking the wine? Great. So I'll start with you. So, so we have a Calibro Ato. It's a 2018 blend of Eteasca, Negra, Merlot, and Cabernet Sauvignon. We're coming from Moldova. Would it be fine for you? I will decant the wine. It might have some sediments. I offered you bigger glasses. It is to open up all the wonderful aromas. Do you mind if I check the wine before serving to you? The cork seems to be in a great condition. Has wonderful bright color. On the nose, it's clean, correct. I will condition the decanter for you. It's wonderful wine, fresh, full of red fruit. It will open up nicely in this wonderful decanter, and also the glasses will work as aerators as well. At the same time, concentrating this wonderful red fruit and slightly. It has a little bit of sediment, so I'll leave some wine in the bottle. All right, sir. Please check the cork and the wine. have you picked a meal for this wine? Or haven't yet? If not yet, I think...
Please,
Yes.
could you additionally serve me some nigori sake?
Nigori sake. Of course, I will check our list if we have. And who will be drinking nigori sake? You, sir, of course. So if you don't know what is nigori, it will be slightly cloudy sake, which is just lightly filtered. And it's becoming quite popular nowadays. Glass for you. So it seems we finished the bottle. There is a little bit left, so I'll just top up for you. I see a little bit. And if someone would like to have a bit more, so we're happy to serve it. Would you like to keep the cork on your table, sir? Up to me? Of course. So I'll just leave the decanter and the bottle over here for now, if you don't mind. I will place the cork over here and we'll come with nigori sake option for you, sir.
Sorry,
Yes, sir.
on your station, everything is prepared.
So we have a wonderful sparkling nigori.
Please have a glass of water.
Thank you.
So again, the audience, please do not comment anything you will see on the screen. Thank you. So I'll give you the instructions. Here you have a wine list. Do not turn it yet. When the time will start, you are allowed to take it. Please check the wine list for possible errors and give your corrections. You will have 4 minutes. Are you ready?
Please, if you could be kind to repeat the task.
Yes. Here you have a wine list. Please check the wine list for possible errors and give your corrections. You will have 4 minutes and time starts now.
So we have a champagne list, sparkling list, and Coteau Champenois. We start with Henri Giraud, Argonne Grand Cru Brut, AI 2013. That seems to be correct. Wine, Henri Giraud produced Argonne. 1998, S de Salon Brut, Blanc de Blanc, Le Menil sur Roger. So, Le Menil and Menil sur Roger are like two different. No, it's fine, I think. 1998. I think Salon hasn't released 1998. Bollinger Viavin Française. Brut Blanc de Noir AI from Bollinger 1999. Yeah, everything seems correct. Here, Deutz Hommage à William Deutz, Purcell AI, Brut Chardonnay. I think like Hommage à William Deutz is not a Chardonnay wine, it's based on Pinot Noir. And it's a blend. Cru Claude d'Ambonnet, Brut Blanc de Blanc, Ambonnet. Krug is not, Claude d'Ambonnet is not a Blanc de Blanc, it's a Blanc de Noir. Lampignon P2, Plentitude, Brut, Epernay. P2 hasn't been produced in 1993. It's just started much later. so it should be Enotech if it was released. Ulysse Collin, Le Perrier, Extra Brut Blanc de Blanc, Cogny, 2016, I think that should be correct. Rosé de Jeanne, Cédric Bouchard, Le Ursul, Brut Blanc de Noir, Côte de Cézanne, it's in Côte d'Ivoire, 2019. Then sparkling wines, Cadel Bosco, Cuvée, Anna Maria Clementi, Franciacorta, Zero Dosage, Lombardy, Italy. It should be a vintage Franciacorta. A Bandorst, El Bandito. I wish I was a ninja, Swartland, South Africa. Nice name. But it should be a bit later vintage than 2022, because if it's made as a Cap Classique, it should be aging for a bit longer. Von Bull, Riesling Brut, Mosel, Germany. Von Bull is from Pfalz, not from Mosel, 2019. Agile Vintage, Brut Sparkling, Napa Valley, California, USA. It's from Sonoma, not from Napa. Camel Valley Vineyards, Brut Reserve, West Sussex, England. It's not from West Sussex, it's Camel Valley. Okay, I'll come back with this. Beret Sheffield, Reflet, Antan White, Coteau Champenois from Lude. It should be a vintage, I suppose, not a non-vintage Coteau Champenois. And coming back to Camel Valley, it is, I know the region on the west coast. It's not the West Sussex. It's Wales, so it should be Wales for Camel Valley, 2015. Yes, I think I'm done with this task.
So we stay here.
May?
Please. Please identify these 5 beverages and comment on their key methods of production. You will have 8 minutes. Are you ready?
Please repeat the task.
Please identify these 5 beverages and comment on their key methods of production. You will have 8 minutes and time starts now.
Right? Wine number 1 is a white wine, which is a sweet wine coming I would say coming from Argentina, made on Toronto's grapes. It's a late harvest wine, 2022 vintage, quite aromatic, stainless steel fermentation, but lately picked grapes. Wine number 2. It's a sweet wine made from botrytized grapes, so it's a botrytis infected grapes coming from France, Bordeaux region, Semillon grape variety, mostly with some Sauvignon Blanc, and it's a vintage 2020. I would say wine number 3 is a coming from France. It's a wine from Alsace region. It's a Sélection de Grain Noble Gewürztraminer. And so it's again botrytized wine. Of 2018 vintage. Wine number 4. I will skip that. Wine number 5 is a Moscato d'Asti, coming from Italy, Piemonte, Moscato grape variety, made in a Asti method, like a one fermentation ending in the bottle, very light, quite not too sweet but aromatic. A gentle mousse. And number 4, I would say it's a sweet wine made from Pinot Grigio. It's dried, so it's Pasito style, coming from Alto Adige. But it hasn't been aged long in the barrels. It's quite still fruity. So I would say it's 2022 vintage. Yes. I like sweet wines, but they're difficult to I would like to change wine number 2, coming from Loire Valley. It's a Chenin Blanc from Coteau du Léon. Also botrytized, but I would say vintage 2018, as I mentioned before. I would say beverage number 5 is I would say it's sake, and it's sparkling sake. Yeah, I would say it's a sparkling sake. It's slightly sweet, bottle fermented, Ava sake, and doesn't have any vintage, made from rice, Yamada Nishiki. Or no, I would like to keep my first, this Piemonte Moscato d'Asti. Let's be safe.
We're done for now. So we will welcome you back on the stage a little bit later on. So once again, big hands, Martynas Pravilonis, Lithuania.
Thank you.